welcome. My name is Shola Adeomi, and you're welcome to SOLA'S Lounge, where we do life together. In the last episode of SOLA'S Lounge, we were talking about the after party with my beautiful brown sugar hair, my wife.
Yes.
You're back in the lounge.
I'm back in the lounge.
Okay. You're enjoying lounge life, aren't you?
I am. It's my new life, baby.
Okay, now it's the after party. This is part of the after party.
It's the after party, baby.
You go, girl. So we were talking about what it's like after the party.
Right.
The party, for those who may have missed it, and I hope you can go back on YouTube, SOLA'S Lounge with Shola Adeomi, and catch up on the last episode and previous ones if you've not seen any of those. But the party is when you are doing life with your children, raising a family. And the after party is the freedom life, when everyone is gone and it's just you and your wife, or if you're the woman, you and your husband. That's the after party. That's when you get to enjoy life without having to buy Pampers, baby food, grocery because you have to, clean up after the kids, yell after them, to do their dishes, make their beds. It's the life. But there's more to that.
Yeah.
There's more to it
It's so
than
much more.
just having fun with each other.
Absolutely.
You get into a new phase of self-discovery. You begin to pursue dreams that you probably put on hold because you had to raise kids. You're clapping your
Exactly.
hands.
Yes,
What
babe.
dreams are you talking about right
Babe,
now?
I mean,
Leaving about.
there's so many. There are so many dreams that I would say that God placed in us from the beginning that we placed on hold. You and I placed on hold because it was a matter of raising the children before we started to do, other things. But one thing comes to mind is even SOLA'S Lounge. I remember, so many people that were getting in contact with you years ago to do some publications and to syndicate it and all of that stuff there. And I was the one that was saying, hey, babe, go ahead and you've been waiting for this. And I remember specifically that you told me, you said, no, God told me to just wait until the right time, until you take care of the kids and get them through school. And then you'll go ahead and pick that back up. So I'm actually seeing that word manifest, So here we are.
What about you?
There's so many. It's for me. There was so many dreams that I forgot about, and I'm at this stage where I am picking up things that I had when I was a teenager. Dreams that I had when I was a child, gifts and talents that have just emerged, but as I still in that soul searching and I have the time to just, reflect, I'm seeing things that I thought was completely gone come alive again in a whole new way. So it's a beautiful thing.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm getting here is confirmation of what we've talked about in the past, what I've always believed, that when you pick a partner, you're picking a partner who complements you. And you're not just picking a partner who complements you in a very simple way, so to speak. You're picking a partner who's going to be your destiny partner,
Absolutely.
your purpose partner,
Yes.
someone who's going to help you in the journey to fulfill your destiny.
Yes.
Or purpose, whichever one you want to use. I believe it's the same word. They mean the same thing. Destiny, purpose, what you were created to be. Not to do, to be.
To be.
And the partner you pick is the one that's going to help you in that journey of fulfillment. And that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That at this stage, you're fulfilling purpose beyond just raising kids.
Well, okay, so I know we talk a little bit different. So purpose, the main purpose that God gives us, one, of course, raising the children. We've done that with living with less, very little regrets if we have regrets, because for the most part, we took care of our responsibilities. I can say even in the midst of having children and having a family, that there's vision and dreams that God allow you to, take part of, and that will become manifest in the natural. But at this stage in the after party that we're in, I'm seeing even more, if that makes if that makes sense to you and that if that's clear.
Yeah, but at this stage now that there are no kids involved, and I don't want to call them distractions, but you get to focus more on the purpose without engaging in other things. It's just you, your partner, and the purpose or the purposes.
Correct.
And
It's in essence you get visions and destinies, purpose at throughout life, but I can equate from childhood me, just talking about me, I can equate from childhood that things that I had in me as a child, even though along the way I have had the greatest of opportunity, which is the party, to do that with my children, to do that with our children. But then now the after party, it's going back to some of those things, a lot of those things before I even had children are now manifesting.
could that be one of the reasons that couples go different directions, part ways? Because now one is identifying certain purpose or purposes,
Okay.
and the other person is not seeing that purpose or does not believe in that purpose, and they begin to drift apart. Is there a danger of that?
It's a great danger because whether it's in the after party or the party, each and every individual has a purpose, and purpose is it's always emerging. I've seen people who they're married and they have children, and there's a dream, and both parties won't embrace the dream, or the vision or idea that the other person has, and they would fight over that, and then they were divorced and they would separate and do whatever. Of course, I see it a lot now. I want to be free. I'm like, well, if you embrace the concept of being an individual prior to marriage, in marriage, and after marriage, I mean, it's going to manifest. So there would be. I think a lot of it boils down to the parties who are not secure in themselves has a problem with embracing and helping that other person fulfill their call of life. I think that's what I've seen. It's more so of individuals who are not secure in themselves, so they see their partner now emerging per se, and they're threatened by that emerging they shouldn't be.
Okay, so if you're in the after party,
Okay.
it's just you and your spouse.
Okay.
And you begin to live in the fullness of the purpose outside of raising kids. It's just you, your dreams, and your spouse. What would be your guardrail? What would be your recommendation for individuals who are in that situation to support each other?
I would say something that we mentioned on one of the prior episodes was embracing the individuality. So before we can embrace one another, I think we said it a few times, before we can embrace one another, we embrace ourselves. So I'm not handicapped because I don't have my children, or I'm not handicapped anymore because I don't have my spouse. No, I'm my completed self. So in my completed self, I bring my whole self to the table, and likewise. And I think if it's we focus on being the individual and respecting the individual, and those two individuals come together, I think there will be no competition. It's so embarrassing to see the magnitude of competition in marriages because of dreams. Okay, so don't you have dreams? And the answer would be yes. Do I have dreams? Absolutely. So why can't we support one another? Why is it that we have to block, the people that you love, the two individuals that's supposed to love each other, have a hard time helping that other person completely fulfill their dreams and destiny? I think that's what it's all about. But I think along the way, if both stop soul searching and being honest with themselves and putting a mirror on themselves, then I'm going to expect something from you that you can't deliver, or I'm going to be threatened by you because he's leaving me or something. He's going to be showcased to the world, so he's going to leave me. That boils down to insecurity. That boils down to not soul searching and not embracing who you are as an individual.
So in order to be the support that I'm supposed to be for you to live and fulfill your dreams, and for you to be the support for me to live and be my dreams. What I'm getting from you is that one of the key factors, the main factor, is self confidence.
We talked about it, absolutely.
You gotta believe, you gotta know who you are, and you gotta believe in who you are, so that whatever and whoever the other person is not a big deal, is not a threat to you. It's actually supposed to be an advantage.
Absolutely. So here's a thought that I just had, in terms of, we tend, as humans, we tend to focus on a negative, right? So if someone does a positive, we come back with a negative. But in terms of fulfilling our dreams throughout the stages, whether it's beginning of dating, and this is the part of the qualifying someone who's going to be on that journey with you and help you fulfill your dreams. Throughout life, we're going to have dreams. But instead of me focusing on the negative, oh, well, you can't do that, or, I don't think this is the right time for you to do that. A lot of it is, approaching that individual. So if I was to give you a negative, that negative would be a positive. An example would be, you want to do it such and such way. And I would say, hey, babe, have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this? Not to shut your dream down, because it's a detriment to a human to have the person that they love, shoot the ideas and dreams down. And here's what happens. So the person who has the dreams and has the aspirations and have the ideas, they're constantly being shut down, and then they go out to a networking group, or they go to work or something else, and then there's another person that's applauding and saying what you're supposed to be saying, or saying what I'm supposed to be saying. Here's what it tends to happen, because that's a bait right there, is now that person is attracted to the positive that they're receiving from somebody else, when they're supposed to be receiving the positive from their spouse.
So again, from what you're saying, what I get from it is that beyond the support, even when you want to advise, or you want to give alternative opinion, to say it or to give such in a complimenting way, in a way that builds up rather than tear down.
Right. I mean, because here's what's going to happen. When you have the idea, when you have the product, when you have the services, you have the creation, and you go out there in the world and you produce it to the world, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get a lot of positives, but you're going to get some negatives too. And it tends to be that the negatives slow you down. Well, here's why negatives really won't slow you down, is when you have that support system. And where does the support system supposed to come from? It comes from home. It comes from
your partner.
Your partner, right? So help me be confident, because every human has that. I have it, but then when you get out there and everything's hitting you from outside, the worst thing is to get hit from the inside. Go ahead.
Okay, so in this phase, for those who are in this phase right now,
Right.
the key takeaway would be, help identify the skills, the dreams, the aspirations of your partner. When the partner identifies it, validate it and help support it.
Yes.
But the best way that you can support someone is when you are fulfilled yourself.
Exactly.
Because you cannot give what you don't have.
Listen.
So develop yourself as well. Begin to identify what you are about in this stage of life as well, so that you can help someone else. Because if you're not fulfilled, you can support someone to get fulfilled.
And we know, like, if someone's standing with us and not supporting us. So, and that's in terms of where we are in this after party, right? So it's an amazing place, because it's the individual. It's the individual that whatever creativity comes to that individual and those ideas, Let them be. My thing is just let them be. Let them produce. Let them see how great they are. Like each individual is great. Just let that person, don't beat them up. Don't, because again, they're going to have to deal with some mental things when they produce whatever they produce. But don't be that person to say you can't do this, or that's not your gift, or because God gives us new gifts, right? So just don't be the negative. If you're going to give a negative, give it in a positive, like I said. So you can make it positive. Babe, have you thought of this? Because so, and again, I always have these examples, and for this you are the example. So in terms of recordings and things that I'm thinking about right now, how to package certain things. You have certain experience that I don't have. Like I'm tapping into all the experience you had from producing and all of that there, and I'm able to bounce some things off of you. So even though I haven't done this before, in terms of producing certain media packages and certain things like that, but on this end, I have these ideas for these products and services that I have. I'm so thankful to be able to tap into you.
And I have to be wise in how I respond, right? That's the bottom line. I can't come and say, no, you can't. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's not what you called to do. Like,
I can't come at you. Right. I cannot come at you like that.
Right.
I'm my own worst critic.
Right.
But I have to be able to see you different from how I see myself.
Exactly.
And communicate and relate with you in a way that you would receive.
Yes.
And in a way that not just receive, but you would be enhanced by.
Absolutely.
Because you said earlier on when we were talking about SOLA'S Lounge, even when I was going to publish my books, the books were out there for years before I published them.
Absolutely.
And you kept coming at me like,
all the time.
You got to do this, and I kept saying no.
And you were shutting me down. Like I'm like, babe, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm trying to make this happen, and you're like, listen, don't bother me.
Exactly. But I could do that because it was about me.
Your dream, yes.
If I was doing that for you. And I think we had that issue a few times with your dreams.
Okay.
But if I was doing that with you, it would come across like I'm shutting your dreams down.
Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person that everything has to be at the right time. I have everything planned as I get inspiration from God, from the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
And I don't go by the world's timing.
Exactly.
I don't go by someone else's timing.
Right.
I believe that the right time would be after I've put all my resources in family, in my kids, in my home. And then when all that is done, then I can go to the next level.
Yeah.
But
we're different, totally different.
You're a different kind of person.
Absolutely.
You want to do multiple things at the same time. I can be all over the map.
That's me. That is
I gotta be cool, calm, and collected. Yeah. So I was able to tell you
it's opposites though, but it works. It definitely works.
I balance you out. You balance me out.
Absolutely.
When I am too slow, you're moving fast.
Come on,
baby. You're going too fast. I
slow down.
Well, you're gonna hit yourself on the wall. But that's what it's about, complementing each other. But I guess the key would be to understand each other's language.
Absolutely.
And be able to communicate in that language. However, I also believe that what we're talking about right now has to do essentially with God-given purpose.
Absolutely.
Because you cannot be what you have not been created to be. And in order to come into the fullness of self, you have to be connected to the one who created you.
Yes.
So if we're gonna complement each other, I have to be anchored in God.
Yeah.
You've got to be anchored in God, so that I am going according to God's pace for me.
Absolutely.
And if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, when I'm supposed to be doing it, I shouldn't be worried about what you're doing, when you're doing it, because it's got nothing to do with what I'm supposed to be doing. All I have to do is be who I'm supposed to be in your life.
And that's a great point, because timing is everything, and we have to know the individual timing and how God works with each individual. And so, like you said, if God told you something specific pertaining to your dreams and your visions, I have to respect that. So here's what respect and love actually looks like. Is to say, okay, I see it. I know it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be great. But you're saying you're going to hold off because God told you to hold off. Okay, but here's what God told me, and God told me to go ahead and produce what I have and release what I have.
So you be you.
And you be you. That's the point. And so for me not to stop because you're stopping, and for you not to go because I'm going.
So let me put it this way.
Okay.
As a man or as a woman, when you're relating with your spouse and you think they're going too slow, or perhaps they're going too fast, especially in this phase where you don't have alternatives to keep you occupied. You know, we can bury a lot of things when the kids are still around because you're still thinking about school fees, you're thinking about grocery, you're chasing little toddlers all over the place. So you're not so focused on your spouse. Okay. But once they're gone, it's like the veil is removed.
It is removed.
So there's nothing else to focus on. There's nothing else to
They're in your face. Either you're going to love each other or not.
Exactly. So at this stage of life, it's very key not to be frustrated at the pace of your partner.
Okay.
And the way to stay not frustrated will be if you know God.
Okay.
That's for me.
Okay.
Because if I know God, even if I think you're going too fast, instead of slowing you down or saying, girl, you got to slow down, I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
As my recommendations or suggestions.
Okay.
You don't have to take it.
Yeah.
But because I know God
and I
trust God,
yeah.
I just go to God and say, God, this is what I think.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Okay.
So let your will be done.
Absolutely.
The biggest key takeaway in this is when it comes to supporting each other's dreams.
Okay.
To know that God is the giver of dreams in the first place.
Absolutely.
And he says in his words that he gives you the desires of your heart. He will give your heart what you desire. And because he's the one that gave your heart what you desire, he will give your heart what it desires. So if I'm not clear about the way you're going, instead of hammering you and telling you, babe, slow down, or babe, you need to move faster, I need to go to the giver of dreams.
Absolutely.
And say, God, I don't get it, but
make it clear to me.
Make it clear to me, or even if I'm too emotionally entangled to see, even when you're making it clear, because sometimes our emotions cloud our judgment.
Absolutely.
What you need to do, my recommendation for you in this situation, what you need to do, my recommendation for you in this situation would be, tell God, may your will be done.
Amen.
And when you're saying, may your will be done, keep your hands off the wheel. Just shut up.
Yeah. Move out of the way.
Shut up and move out of the way. But don't move out of the way in, I'm not involved.
Okay,
don't be detached.
There you go.
Still do what you're supposed to do to support your partner.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the phrase irreconcilable differences come up in marriages that have been on for 15,
all of a sudden,
20,
all
30,
of a sudden,
35 years.
We can't agree.
I mean,
on which way we're going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as it does not destroy the fundamentals of your relationship, of your home.
Right.
If we're not losing our house.
And the integrity.
If we're not losing our health.
Yeah.
If we're not losing our lives.
Yeah.
Do you.
Yeah, and let you do you.
Exactly.
And I think that's very hard for people because, again, it boils down to insecurity. And if we stay in that self-evaluation mode, if we stay in that relationship with God, meaning I don't want to be a hindrance to you. I want to, and this is the approach, and you know this is the approach that I took personally with the kids, is I don't want to be a hindrance to them. I want, and I would tell them, because it's so many, don't compare yourselves to each other, because each one was designed completely different. So each child in that home has a purpose. And the more I live out my purpose, the more that I can help them live out their purpose, meaning I can show them the details and some situations that they would encounter. And the same approach with you. So I would say, let us not be a hindrance to one another. And the Bible also says, be fruitful and multiply. I know we equate that only to birthing children, but it goes into other scriptures that pertain to multiplying your gifts and your talents. And so and you said it, who gives us the gifts and talents? God gives us the gifts and talents. And where are they? They're not outside of us, they're inside of us. So unless I'm tapping inside of me, I won't be able to pull those things out. But then as I start to pull them out, the one that I love is like hitting it and knocking it. And I'm like, okay, so why is this? Why are you so angry? Or why are you coming at me like this? And so, again, we have to make sure that negative is a positive and that we move out of the way even when we don't understand. Because here's what I know that will happen. And a lot of times it happens. I've seen it happen within us, that when we go pray, then God shuts it down. Like that thing that I was so passionate about, for some reason, I'm no longer passionate about it. Like, wait, hold up. I was just moving like at a speed of 150 miles per hour, and then we get a complete halt. God, why is the halt? And here's why God gave the halt in certain situations. God gave me halts, and again, having testimony. I remember God, I'm going 150 miles per hour because I'm confident God gave it to me. And then there's a halt. There's a complete stop. And I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't understand. God, why are you doing this? And at the same time, a year passed, or 2 years passed, or 3 years passed. And I can't pick it up. But I knew it was from God. And so I know certain prayers that you pray, but anyhow, here's certain
prayers that I pray.
Because I know you be praying them prayers against me. No, I'm just kidding. You be praying. You be like, God, show it to me, because this woman be like going 150 miles per hour.
Let it be. If it's not, shut it down.
Yeah, amen. But I've learned that God, because God's a timing God, that what He gave me 3 years ago, fast forward, now I'm able to produce that because God is a God of timing. So I'm saying that we have to be individuals, and we have to just move forward with our individual person, and then we are able to embrace one another and bring value to one another. But if we don't embrace ourselves and the value that we have in ourselves, and stop knocking down the value that we have in ourselves, it's to say, if I don't believe in me, how can I believe in you? So as I believe in me, I'm going to believe in you, because I've battled with my negatives. So I'm going to help you destroy your negatives. And so I think we're missing out, again, still on the after party, because we're not in the soul searching, valuing ourselves and living our best life. And it's not a cliche.
And if there's going to be a takeaway from this episode of SOLA'S Lounge, it's going to be this: that when you're in the after party, it's time to live life, to flower and bloom. But in chasing those blooms and flowering, you have to check, what's the motive? Check your heart.
Absolutely.
Why are you doing what you're doing, or what you want to do? And if you're the other side, maybe you're the spouse who's watching what the other party is doing, you need to ask yourself too, what is your motive? What is in your heart? Why are you not interested, or why are you interested? And at the end of the day, learn to give it all to God.
Amen.
If it is not His will, let Him shut it down. But if it is His will, let Him give you the wisdom and the grace to help not just you be all that you're called and created to be, but to help your partner, your spouse, to be all that he or she has been created to be.
That's good.
Thank you for being a part of SOLA'S Lounge again. We appreciate you doing life with us.
Yes.
And we look forward to many more times of pleasure and fun together in the lounge.
Absolutely.
Nice having you in the lounge, gal.
Glad to be here.
See you next time.